Let's go.
I'm Robbie Delaney. My wife Caroline and I started Muddy River back in 2011 with 35 bottles a day and a still named Freedom built in my parents' backyard. Year by year, we steadily grew the company into 6,000 square feet, our second location, taking our 30 bottles a day production to 1,300 bottles a day production. So our first 4-year barrel done.
Okay.
We've outgrown our space in Belmont, so now we're moving the entire production upriver, up the Catawba, up Dutchman's Creek. Our new home will be the Mount Holly Cotton Mill, where we're doing a full historic restoration.
I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.
We're gonna blow up the building with the rum.
And this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs, I'm hitting it on the...
Don't mind me, just taking a little pre-drink.
And now, one other important part, we should taste it and see what it tastes like.
My least favorite task here, moving barrels. If you jack it up with a pallet rack, you might notice the whole stack is like that, and then you're like, oh, great.
Going from 6,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet, we'll not only manufacture, bottle, and package our rum, we'll also have a full-service cocktail bar with a restaurant, private event spaces, a venue for concerts, shows, and festivals. Ooh. We've got a lot of work to do. Holy, seriously? The bottom half of those 2x4s are trash. Can't put those in the building.
Follow along as we transform this property from mill to still.
All right, I'm gonna walk away from this one. Got some gum? It's truck gum, it's not that sanitary. Better than pocket gum, but not like as clean as purse gum. And then, you know, ideally you would just get straight out of the store gum. Oh, let's go look at this. What I came over here to do was stand on this manhole cover. So they put a ring, an adapter over it. A manhole that was here, it's really old, and they don't really make a manhole cover to fix it right. So the city came in and they put a new adapter ring and a new lid. Check out the new addition. So I've been hitting these auctions up, trying to get a forklift, right? Since we have 2 facilities, we need another forklift. And I did this online auction, a live auction. So you got a real auctioneer at a building, he's auctioning stuff up, and there's a lot of people at it. And I'm participating online. I've never done that before, so I go on the thing, and I'm like, hey, let me make sure I know how the bidding situation works so that when I get to the forklift, I'm all set and ready to go. I go to the live thing, he's auctioning off this saw. And I'm like, okay, let me hit the bid button. I hit the bid button. When you hit the bid button, you accept to pay whatever that auctioneer is saying in his mouth. And I just happened to hit that button when everybody was done and over paying money for this saw, and so I bought this saw. Hammer price $650 plus 19.75% add-on for taxes and auctioneer fees. Brought this thing to $784. It's a good deal. That saw new at Home Depot's like $11.50. I don't need a quickie saw. I mean, it's the Cadillac of quickie saws. And I'll just show you, this thing's cold. See, I'm holding the muffler here. Do a little prime in the carburetor. And then one pull. Let me go see how it works. Great. So I'm guessing the fabricators, they bought this thing because they had a job where they were working I-beams in the field, not on their shop. In the shop, they would use bandsaws. Anytime you can use a bandsaw, that's how you cut metal, but it hooks up to water, and that way you keep the dust down. Concrete dust is our generation's asbestos, you know. Well, let's see, let's ask the expert.
Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Arturo, how you doing, bud?
Hey, good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I miss you, man. You gotta come back out here.
Yeah, soon. I'm done over here. A lot of metal.
Yeah?
I saw the picture you sent me, but that machine.
Yeah, what do you think? I accidentally bought that in an auction.
How much you paid for?
I paid $784.
Damn, man, that's a good deal.
Is it a good deal?
Yeah.
I need to sell it, so if you know anybody that needs to buy one.
Yeah, keep it, not get it.
Okay.
Maybe we can go get it tomorrow.
I'll be here. Just call me.
Yeah, I'll call you, okay?
Yeah.
All right, boss man.
All right, Arturo. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was easy. He's just doing a job where he needs these. For someone like Arturo, that tool, he can't do his job without it, apparently.
Let me walk away.
I hear you.
Yeah, but you want to hear me through your mic.
How you doing, Rita? Nice shirt, dude.
Yes, I can do.
It looks great. You look amazing.
I'm just gonna take off from the truck. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try to get some creekside, I think.
Fly so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and hope.
All right, I gotta change this battery.
I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
That was not the best spot to do that.
Get on board. We're smiling on top of the world. Flying.
Woo! I barely missed those power lines. God, that was like a foot.
Yeah, let's go inside. I forgot too, we've got some windows in. Look at this. This is craftsmanship at its finest. Man, how nice is that? This is not an easy thing to do. So if you look over at this window in progress, you see he's putting these prime boards. Anywhere that wood's hitting masonry has to be primed and painted. You need a barrier because the moisture in the masonry will rot the wood. This is the old windowsill. I mean, that's one hell of a windowsill. You can tell this is the center of the tree right here. It's heart pine, it's heavy. It was in the masonry with straight up spikes, as if it had to carry a machine or something. It blows my mind how they built these things. And then, I don't know, I think from bird turds or whatever, this thing rotted away over time and just pitted out real bad. And rather than try to, a lot of these we could salvage, but this one in particular, it was best just to cut it out and build a new one. Okay, here is a window in progress. So you have a hole in the masonry. They framed out back in the 1800s, they framed out a window and they left this little channel inside. This little channel is where the steel counterweight would ride. So this counterweight is attached to a string. That string went up to the pulleys, which were mounted here, and then snatched a hold of the window. So when you lifted the window, it was easier. This thing maybe weighs 10 pounds. So you had 20 pounds of counterweight. And then from there, what was done and what he will do, see, these are handmade nails. It's crazy to me.
That nail was cut from a piece of steel and then used as a nail. That's by hand. It's awesome. Anyway, they would put blocking against this wall with those nails and then put a 1x6. So that's to come. You can see these headers are heavy timber, and the choppiness of them is from a freaking dude with an axe. They're hand hewn. So like, that's the axe marks in those things. We're gonna leave those exposed so people can see what's going on there. Crazy, right? This is amazing. I couldn't be happier with the carpenters here. We got Raphael doing just phenomenal, amazing work, and we got Keith, who's doing the same, just amazing work, and really take a lot of pride in what they do. And then Jake, we'll call Jake their apprentice. The head distiller is apprenticing to do work like this.
Making donuts. Prefer donuts. This has definitely been an interesting skill to learn. Well, I'm definitely still learning, so. I am glazing these windows. What this does is for older style windows where you have these individual panes sitting in the full sash, if you didn't put something like this in, they would, allow a lot more heat and cold to pass through the windows. So this basically kind of insulates them. The single pane is still not going to be super efficient compared to the modern double or triple pane windows, which are a lot more energy efficient. But because of the historic nature of our, restoration that we're doing, we have to replicate as well as we can the original windows. So for some of these, we have actually taken the frame of the sash, so there'll be 2 of these sashes per window. We've taken the frame of the sashes that is still intact and then had to rebuild the muttons that go in between the panes. And then for ones like this one over here, we actually had frame and muttons that were intact and could be reused. So this sash here was actually completely rebuilt from pieces from multiple sashes. We didn't have that many sashes that were completely intact, so some of them we took pieces that were good from other ones. Maybe the frame itself was broken, whatever, and we built this one out of multiple pieces. Whereas this one, we had to actually replace all the internal components, so to speak. So new glass is going in and having to glaze it in. And so that's what I'm doing right now on both of these, is going to be glazing them in. So I basically take this professional Play-Doh and press it into the corners around each pane, and then I'm going to go around and scrape them to smooth it out to where it creates this nice smooth seal, which will provide that insulation and also hold in the panes, as well as kind of give it a more a sleek look, where it's not just looking like this, which doesn't look great, right? We got to smooth it out to where it actually has a nice look to it. Well, it's been interesting. So I've learned a few more skills while doing more work at the mill. Gotten a little bit better at driving the Bobcat. And just been able to help out with a lot more projects here, and it's been nice. I still will go and do some distillations when needed, but I'm spending a lot more time here. That way we can get this, keep this renovation kind of on track. So now that I've got most of these with the glaze in, we'll go ahead and actually scrape one of these. So I'm just going to get in the corner here, put on some pressure, scrape along, come out of the corner, and take off the extra. And rinse and repeat. All right, there's one.
Ooh, here's a really exciting thing.
we put an actual storefront window up. So this week, Paula and Jake varnished, sanded and varnished all the storefronts. So they're all splinter free and washable so that we could get this glass in. And this is tempered safety glass up and down. We've got this really cool trim, and that style is Keith's idea. So I had an idea similar to it, but when he actually mill it out, which we mill everything. So like we made that piece of, Raphael made that piece of wood. When he made the sample I drew for him or suggested, it didn't look quite right. So Keith's like, tried this one and it looks perfect. This piece is raw, but these pieces are stained and varnished. And they will hold this glass in. So it's not complete, that's why it's rattly and whatever. I keep hitting it, pounding on it. I'm just trying to simulate what the worst case scenario would ever possibly be if you're up here and I'm like, hey Jake, bring the rum up, something like that, you know? So that happened this week and it's super cool to see it. We'll put signs there that say don't feed the fish and don't tap on the glass and stuff like that. Yesterday I went with my mom and we went tile shopping, which I think she really hated that. She says I'm her worst client. And I'm the only client that has any kind of opinion, I think. People like to give her free reign. I don't do that because she's crazy. But we made all these tile selections. And by made, I mean we took a bunch of samples and haven't made any decisions yet. So leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think about various tiles. Right now, we're looking at likely a tile like this for the bar. That's why it's here. So this tile would go 36 inches out from the bar. And then right here, this tile would be the tile for the bathrooms. So the floor of the bathroom would be these white tiles, and then we're gonna go 6 feet up the walls. Even though if you walk into almost any bathroom that has tile walls, they go 5 feet up. In my opinion, that's just 1 foot shy of doing it right. So we're going 6 feet up. My mom drew and built all the houses we ever lived in, including the farm. So she drew it, had a builder build it. She's been very hands-on with all that stuff my whole life. Yeah, she's been in magazines and stuff like that with her stuff. I think Southern Living did a feature on a house she designed and built for a couple in the mountains somewhere. But yeah, she's done a lot of that stuff. Does a good job, almost good enough to give her total free reign out here, but not quite, not quite.
The path to Muddy River. My mom, who teaches at Belmont Abbey College, had invited Robbie over to speak to one of her business or marketing classes just about, you know, his business model or how he does marketing, something like that. And had mentioned to her that he was looking to hire somebody, maybe, in the spring, probably to do like some social media type stuff, maybe. And so she told me, I was like, well, I really like Muddy River. Obviously, I've been a customer there for years. We have gone for the tours a lot and really enjoyed the products. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll try to work there. I'm not really big into social media, but maybe I can convince them to teach me to distill or something else. Like maybe I can figure that out. It was one of those, like, Robbie had kind of like said, I might be hiring somebody in the spring. And I went to talk to him, you know, a few months after this. You know, it wasn't even clear if he was still looking to hire somebody. I think I just kind of convinced him. Really, it was the beard, you know. Went to talk to him, and he, you know, showed me around and talked to me for a little while and talked to Caroline. And they decided to hire me and had me help with production, went ahead and, you know, like the bottling and stuff like that, packaging, and went ahead and taught me how to distill. And then I think I had done 2 morning shifts of distillation by myself without any supervision. And that was when the initial COVID shutdown kind of happened in this area. And quickly after, there was the great hand sanitizer shortage of 2020. And we were asked to make hand sanitizer to help out with the local hospitals and first responders and medical, you know, places that really needed hand sanitizer. And, you know, we got our recipe approval from the FDA and all that stuff. And so we started doing that. And I went from being a part-time employee, distilling once a week and doing, you know, packaging, some sort of bottling or something else once or twice a week, to solely doing distillations 6 days a week. And Robbie was doing a 7th day by himself just to make as much hand sanitizer as we could. And we did that for 2 months straight. So I went from part-time to overtime at the drop of a hat.
Sugar in the rain, huh?
Oh yeah. It was the exact same process for us. We still got sugar and molasses, we fermented, we distilled the rum, and it was, you know, it was all still the same recipe. We just, instead of taking the rum and putting it in our bottles with the, you know, the flavors or the silver or the barrel aging, we took all of it and mixed it with other chemicals to make the hand sanitizer. So it was still all the rum, it just was denatured so that you're not supposed to drink it, but it made it into the acceptable hand sanitizer per the FDA, WHO recipe that we were given to use. And while we were grateful to be able to do something for the community, we are very glad we're not making hand sanitizer anymore, because that's just it's a pain. But hey, if you want some Muddy River hand sanitizer, we still have a little bit left in little travel bottles, so come by and pick up some. There's my merchandise plug. You're welcome, Robbie.
Oh, it's been a week now. We can check this other piece. So this is a raw, cleaned and oiled piece of steel that held the needles. So you see the needles go in there. Peter had a good idea. He took this piece, we varnished it, and the only fear I have with the varnish is that the varnish will yellow, because UV light tends to do that. So I did a test piece out here, and I'm curious to see how it's done over a week, and see if there's a difference. So there's side by side, and I was beating on this thing and trying to scratch it, which is abuse that it probably wouldn't see. I just wanted to give it the test. But as far as I can tell, it's not yellowing any more than it was when it was first applied. And I'm pretty happy with that. So this is essentially encapsulated, and that way it won't rust. So we clean the oil off of this, dry it, and then immediately varnish it, and that protects it in the building from oil on your hands and humidity and things like that, because it's just bare raw steel. So yeah, that test I would call a success. I'm gonna varnish this thing, or lacquer it, or whatever you call it. I actually put a coat of varnish on this yesterday to protect this face that we found. There was a wall back here. All right, third floor. So up here, we've made cotton mill gray, which is a greenish gray that matches the greenish gray on the walls. All right, so I pulled some of this color off the walls, took it to Sherwin-Williams, they matched the paint, and then we painted this. And I'm kind of wondering if we should paint these columns that same color. If we should just carry that color everywhere. Right now, this column is a flat black, which I really like. In this particular space, I think maybe flat black is still the way to go. But I'm really thinking we need to change some other areas, like the stair tower where I've got semi-gloss black. I think we should change that color to this cotton mill gray. And I think that might be just our kind of theme, cotton mill gray. But it's our color, it's unique to us, so I think that's really cool.
How long have you had the beard?
A little over 4 years. Although, you know, I had to grow it that first year, so it wasn't nearly this long, but yeah, I haven't shaved in 4 years. I trimmed it, otherwise I would have a ZZ Top beard, but that would be a little too much. My girlfriend makes fun of me because it takes me longer to get ready than her. Because I have to put products in the beard so that it doesn't get itchy or dry out and stuff like that. And I just put some beard oil in it just to keep it soft, and helps with the tangling, but not really that much. It still gets really tangled. So brushing is not that comfortable. Even if you got a short beard, the beard oil helps. It keeps it from itching. That's why most people don't end up growing a beard in the long run. They're like, it's itchy. I mean, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, 4 years ago, I was clean shaven. Basically started growing this after I got out of the Marines, because, you know, in the Marines, you definitely had to shave every day. I was in the Marines for 6 years. And so after I got out, I decided, let's see what happens, you know, because I had no idea if I could grow. I mean, I could grow, like, you know, over the weekend, I could grow a little stubble, but I had no idea if it was gonna, how that was gonna look in the, you know, once it grew out. So I decided to just kind of give it a go and see what happens, and then I haven't shaved since. Every once in a while, I consider just cutting it off and shaving for a while, starting over. And every time I have one of those intrusive thoughts, within seconds, some stranger will come up to me and be like, "That's a nice beard." And I'm like, "I'm keeping it." I gotta keep it. Skate along and whoop. Let's see what happens. So that one was better. Oh yeah, because if you've seen the side that faces the loading dock, that all the windows that are up in there, it looks really nice. You know, it looks a lot less abandoned and more like something's actually happening. You might actually want to go get a drink there instead of, I don't know, tetanus. You know, for a long time it was like, all right, this is what this is going to look like, and you know, you're just like trying to picture it in your head, but some of those things are actually starting to come to fruition now, so we can physically see, you know, what it's going to look like, or you know, starting to actually see some of those details. It's really nice because it's been a lot of effort put in to make it happen, so it's really cool. So one of the important steps in the process of redoing these windows is to put in window points, which are these little metal bits that hold the pane in place, kind of help secure it. But if you want to look here, you see these little like diamond-shaped little things. They stick into the wood and then hold the glass in place. We have this fancy little point gun, which installs them for us. It's like a nails them right in. And there you go. And once I'm done with this one, we're gonna change it up. So we've been doing the 12 lights. These was with the 12 panes. The older portion had the 9 light windows, and so that will be the next task. We want to do all these at once, and we'll go through that whole stack. We'll find the ones that are repairable, and then start working on those. So like, the journey continues. Hopefully at some point it will end.